All right. Hello and welcome to the Snowbirds meeting room. I'm Shadow Spectre 11, and today I'm going to talk about the Evocati changes and the PTU. What's going on with it and what everybody thinks about it. Hey, Super Shaved, how are you, man? So, a lot of controversy about the Evocati, the new PTU changes and stuff like that. Yeah, everything's going great. How you doing, man? How's your time with the family? All right. So I'm going to kick it over and get started. Here we go. Enjoying most definitely good. All right. So we all know that the PTU is out. It is in effect with Evocati right now. Now, these are some old notes that have popped up that we had like 2 weeks ago. And there are some new things that have come out. From leaks, they're saying that the whole C is not in the PTU right now. Now, we don't know, and as a player, we don't know all the particulars about what is going on with the PTU. They're under NDA, and they can't say anything. So, all we can do is take the information from what we get from leaks and things of that nature. So I really don't know anything about all the intricate stuff at this point, and could be a whole different setup. But the most important thing is that that the PTU is out there. It is being tested, and that's the most important thing at this point in time. So as soon as it drops, I will be in there checking things out, playing it a lot when I get in there, and going from there. I know, a lot of people are ready for the PTU at this point. There have been major stability issues in 19, and we all know about it. And a lot of bugs and glitches and things of that nature. But I mean, it is what it is, and that's all we can do. All we can do is just go with it, work with it, and play it as it is. There was SCL just on Friday, and there was also a ISC which deals with VFX, and I did watch it. It was pretty interesting to see where all of this is coming from and how they work it out, and it was really cool. You know what? We're going to go into that. Bring that up.
Hi, welcome to CIG Cribs. I'm Max Snowden, and this is where the magic happens. So VFX in video games, certainly in our games in particular, it's basically energy represented visually. So your more typical VFX, explosions, fire, all that kind of thing, they're representing that kind of energy and the motion and the force and the violence that comes to even things like leaves getting blown around by the wind. It's motion in games. VFX are everywhere in Star Citizen. So there's coolant, there's steam, there's mist, there's fog, there's falling leaves, there's buzzing flies. If the player fires a weapon, they're going to expect some kind of payload for that. They're going to expect to see muzzle flashes, depending on the weapon, of course, but they're going to expect to see impact effects. Again, without them kind of VFX in a game, it's hard for the player to really read what's happening. They're not kind of getting them visual cues, and it sort of hinders their progress. I think VFX matter in Star Citizen because the visuals are fantastic in our game, but without the actual VFX, everything can look very static. There's not always the most tangible thing in a frame that the player sees, but when you take away VFX, they kind of notice that they're not there. I joined CIG 9 years ago, and there was quite a small group of us, actually. There was 3 or 4 of us, VFX artists. So originally, the VFX were struggling for consistency. It was obvious that it was a project in its very early days, and we were looking for that identity. We were looking for that kind of consistency of visuals, that language that can be understood by the player. And that's really why you build a team, why you build a department, to allow that kind of continuity in VFX in a game. So really, in the 9 years that I've been here, we've kind of built a department, a proper department full of different skill sets, different disciplines. We've got a whole programming team, we've got production, we've got embedded QA, we've got concepts. We've obviously got artists as well. We now have a coherence of visuals. We have a language that is understandable and works for the player. We had a good base in the first place, but now the toolkit is really, really powerful, and it needs to be for the ambition of the VFX in the game. So the VFX team is basically a microcosm of game development. The team is currently 21 people. We also have a core team within that, being the programmers, the production side of it, the concepting side of it, and the QA side of it as well. And we need that because we're serving other departments. We're serving art, we're also serving design. And we need to have that kind of skill set within the team to be able to do all the things that are requested of us.
I'm Leo van Stinkesse. I'm a principal VFX programmer. I do 2 things. I manage a small team, 3-4 people of VFX programmers, and I kind of handle the different projects that we have as a team that gets done. And then the second part is I do some programming myself as well. So I intentionally kept the team pretty small so that I have some time to program myself as well.
My name is Francesco. I am a VFX programmer. We have a team of 4 VFX programmers, and the one that manages me is Leo. I program specific graphics features and tools and other stuff related to VFX, specifically mainly for artists to be able to do work with and create really nice visuals from.
My name is Alexander. I'm on the VFX team as a tools programmer. My job is to create sliders and UI elements to make it intuitive for the artists to work with. We have a lot of different environments and effects, and we need to take care of every single one of them. And it's my job to make sure that it's easy for an artist to work with different type of effects.
I'm Callum, and my job in the VFX team is assistant producer. So generally, day to day, I do scheduling and just supporting the team in anything that they need to do. So they get to focus on the creative things whilst I deal with what they would class as the boring side of game development.
If the VFX team didn't have a producer, it would be horrible. He manages a lot and talks to other teams and make sure we have all the information we need to be able to start working on a task. If we had to do that ourselves, that would be a lot of hours wasted every day.
The VFX editor is basically the place where you create the effects. You give it a texture or a picture, and you change a few values, and suddenly it moves, and you see coming to life. It could be a smoke, it could be a fire, it could be lightning. There is not much you can do without the code. That would make the artist A programmer.
We program everything related to VFX. That includes tools, that includes features, that includes smaller things like triggering VFX from game code to system for managing
I gotta say, that looks really awesome. You gotta think, what would SC look like without all of these effects? You have to think about it, you know?
VFX, making sure that VFX stay alive, that they die on time. As VFX programmer, we get to work closely with VFX artists.
My name is Kevin, and I am a VFX artist here at CIG. 90% of the effects we make in Star Citizen are particle effects. When you fire a weapon, at the end of the barrel, we will spawn a particle with a texture on it, and then we modify parameters to be able to make that look like a muzzle flash or smoke or whatever. So basically, we just have a bunch of parameters on how to spawn, how to move, and what a particle looks like.
Star Citizen is a really beautiful game, and VFX are a large part.
Effects really need to be tailored for basically every possible situation. This gives a lot of opportunities for creating visuals and effects in ways that you would normally not see in other games.
The VFX needs to be seen from every angle, from a very far distance to very close up.
We have such varying scales, from just small rooms to planets to ships, and even just empty space itself.
Everything needs to be dynamic and systemic, so all the VFX, they are based on the underlying systems. We get to look at these systems, find the right hooks, and try and trigger the right effects at the right time. Getting all of that together to get a consistent whole is pretty challenging, but the results are always pretty cool.
The relationship within the team is very dynamic. We work together a lot, and it kind of depends on what you're working on to who's involved. Production tends to be involved a lot of the time, generally on a day-to-day basis.
Working closely with artists and obviously other programmers is pretty great. There is a lot of feedback and information circling around what parts of what you're working on you may want to improve on, or even what parts are working well and should be iterated on even further. It creates an environment in which no one feels like they're stuck on something.
So the VFX team, we're basically a support team for everyone else. We create effects for the vehicle team, we create effects for the locations teams, including planets. Any location you can think of, we're going to be adding effects to them in some form or other. And gameplay as well. Obviously, all of these things are design-driven, so we need to create effects that help designers provide that feedback to the player. We won't always be working on the effects at the exact same time.
We don't really come in towards the end, because we don't want to work on something that's going to get changed eventually. So once a ship has been approved, that's when the VFX team starts to work on it. Mostly people don't notice VFX. I think subconsciously they do. They look at a ship and they see a cool thruster, or when it dies, a cool explosion or whatever.
But then again, we have the subtle effects. You don't notice it, and the less you notice it, the better it is. It just plays in with the whole environment.
We provide a supporting role, and we contribute to making the game as good as we can. The future of VFX at CIG is bigger and better, as cheesy as that might sound, but it's maintaining existing effects, and it's building tools within the team that make that possible. So one example of kind of tool improvements to help us maintain
Oh yeah, they make some beautiful stuff. They make some beautiful stuff, and the explosions in the game are just amazing. Just like I said, what would SC be like without these effects? What would it be like? You know, you really got to think about it. And I can't think of anything else. Yeah, it wouldn't be as enjoyable. It wouldn't be. You got to have eye candy in a game. You got to have it. Plain and simple as that.
As well as improve effects is external referencing.
Let's say you have two water effects. They look very alike, but there is a slight difference. And suddenly an artist makes an even better picture to use for these water effects. My job then was to implement a feature to just be able to change the picture of one effect and both of them change at the same time.
And what that's going to do is allow us to have a small group of master effects that we can then propagate to other effects libraries throughout the game. And it means we can maintain a smaller group of effects, and we can make sure that those improvements cascade throughout all the other libraries where those type of effects will be used.
Being able to have the same effect looking a bit different over two projects saves time for the artists, and it's easier for them to keep track of everything and upgrade the visual of an effect.
So that's going to streamline the process, absolutely. It's going to make it easier to keep a high quality, to keep updating and improving the high quality through the years as well.
So currently I'm working on lighting within gas clouds. We already have some lighting system in place, but now we're adapting it to be possible to strike from within gas clouds. This will give some extra gameplay opportunities for designers and environment artists to dynamically spawn lightning and hit ships, hit players, and make gas clouds more dangerous, I guess.
I think the lightning is cool, but I really like the new fire.
So something that we're really proud of and that we've been working on for a long time is fire propagation, so fire hazards. And that's being handled by our VFX programmers.
The fire hazard system has already existed for a while, but it was never fully finalized on the visual side. So I'm currently implementing all of the necessary backend features to get fire looking as good as possible. As part of the fire visuals, I am working on a more specialized way of spawning particles for fire, which creates a more interesting dynamic way in which fire propagates and the way things start to look charred after fire has been there for a while.
That's been kind of a long process and it's still ongoing. It's very, very complicated and it's very ambitious, but we're getting to a point now where I'm really, really happy with where it's going.
The fire hazard system itself is obviously gameplay critical. The visuals obviously help to communicate where fire is present, how strongly it's there, and to give a real sense of danger for the room you're in. The actual damage that the fire is causing on rooms is communicated through these visuals.
One of the best things about working on VFX for Star Citizen is being able to see your work enter the game so quickly, because we update the game so often. So being able to see your work in players' hands is always exciting.
To release a feature, some new VFX that are part of one of the releases, and you see players actually use your system and kind of push it to the limit, and it's always great to see.
Working on Star Citizen in particular is especially good because Star Citizen is a really good-looking game. Working generally in graphics and VFX, I think personally is one of the more satisfying sort of disciplines when it comes to programming.
VFX is one of the big puzzle pieces to making the environment feel rich and full. I feel like that's one of the biggest gains of VFX, is
Joe,
making the game look beautiful.
I know you're at work and you said you couldn't do it tonight, so I ran it anyway. No worries, man.
So, what did we learn this week?
Yeah, I'm doing
Well,
good.
hopefully we learned a bit more about how downstream teams like VFX, these folks who generally come in towards the end of the pipeline, bring life, texture, and nuance to any game, add those finishing touches that elevate the amazing work of other teams, and add essential elements that really make the difference between the immersive and the not immersive. Now don't forget that this year's Ship Showdown has begun, as well as a new initiative spotlighting the various missions in the verse. I'm pretty sure this week it's salvaged. You can check it all out now on the robertsspaceindustries.com website. For Inside
Agreed.
Star Citizen, I'm Jared Huckabee.
Agreed.
Thanks for letting us share the process of game development with you, and we'll see you all here next week.
That was the ISC. Yeah, it does. It does look good. I will be more than happy when they get their stuff together and make it even more interesting. I forgot to like that because it was good. Okay, so the major topic for today is the PTU wave structure. The fire is too individualized, moves funky. Yeah, but once they get it all where it's more natural, I think it'll be really good. It's just going to take time for it to come to fruition. But like we all said, they've been saying, yeah, it's going to come and all like that, and we're still waiting for fire extinguishers and all that stuff. So it is something that takes time. It takes time. No rush. I'm not really pushing for it to be out. There are more important things that need to be implemented at this point. I definitely turned down the music a bit though. I can barely hear you. Oh, it's too loud. Sorry about that. Didn't know. Let me, well, also I've got the gain down too, so maybe that'll help a bit. Okay. How's that? So, the big main topic is the wave restructure. This has caused a ton of controversy in the game, in everything. And I think it'll be a good change for people to start testing the PTU. I know I go in there as soon as it drops to wave 1. I'm in there from day 1 until it drops. Tribunal. Snow Devil 2 reporting in. Nice. Welcome. This right here is a big thing. It's huge. The things about this with the waves. Myself being a subscriber, I'm gonna go in. Subs and concierge don't need to be a part of PPU. I think she should give them other things. PTU needs good testers more than anything. Well, agreed. I would personally, I would like for them to streamline the issue council a little bit more, so it's not so clunky and difficult for people to put in a issue. A lot of people go in and put them in, and they get confused of what goes where and things like that, and then their ticket is crushed because it's not in the right category or this and that. It's very clunky, and I go in there and I work on it and I do things in there, and when I stream it, people see exactly what happens. Yeah, I think the multiple waves are good. Don't get me wrong. I think it's a good thing. Or the numbers lacking quality testers, they might fill with the best testing user. Yeah. I think it'll be a good thing. I'm not dumping on this. I think it's really good. But to report bugs in the issue council, a lot of people don't do it because they don't know how to navigate it. And it needs to be streamlined a little bit for people that play in the PU and the PTU. And not saying that Evocati doesn't know what they're doing. They do. They research a lot before they put in a bug, I would imagine. And that's just my thought. But I would really like to be able to do more reporting bugs than anything. I feel like you're in the game so much that you should definitely have access solely because you play so much. Well, I appreciate that because I play it every day, and I would love to be on Evocati, but I'm just very confused about how to put a bug in through the issue council because I've done it and it got squashed because it wasn't in the right place. So if I do something that I do see, I try to make a video of it and place it on the issue council or even through concierge and send it up so they can see it. That's what I do. But yeah, I'm in the game all the time, and I would love to get into Evocati and do what I do and be able to do something about it, build it up. But anyway, in-game time equal knowing function and playability. So yeah, if reporting was maybe more straightforward, it would be more beneficial to CIG. That's a good point. It's a good point. So, I mean, that's just how I see it. It needs to be a little bit more, not saying simple, but it needs to, the categories need to be a little bit more streamlined to reporting a bug, as far as I'm concerned. Issue council is very, very intimidating to a lot of people. And that's why we don't get the bug reports like we should. It's very intimidating. Just my thought on that. But anyway, anybody else got any more questions, thoughts, comments, and things like that? Please feel free. Let me know. But then there was this that was brought up, if I can find it. Somebody replied to this and they put out a dev's point of view on it. I can't find it. Hold on. I'm going to copy this in here. Okay. So, Will Leverett at CIG, all the things that people were saying about the Evocati and all like this is what he said in light of all the things that were coming down about it. He says, yeah, that's fair. There was so much controversy and people just being upset in general. And he says, yeah, that's fair. Apologies for the long write-up, but maybe I can illustrate it a bit because OGs will remember I helped design the first test groups and I helped with the rebalance. It comes down to a numbers game to fill multiple PTU servers across multiple days to achieve the right sort of testing, and proper scale testing of all our services. The challenge over the years is Wave 1 became so massive from when we started that we used all of our ammo on one single day. Over 95% played PTU just once. Check it out and are never seen again. What wasn't in the post is the very compromised timeline. The waves will happen almost immediately, one after the other. I even expect to see multiple waves on the same day. The speed of which it happens will make this almost unnoticeable in the end. I get that it's perceived lost in value, but I would ask to give it a shot. This will really help our man and hero Ahmed, our dev team, and the project as a whole to have more people spread across multiple days. So there was a method to the madness. It just wasn't worded correctly enough, and people got pissed. That's how I see it. It made me. I was like, "What is this?" And it was like, how could you come up with something like that? That doesn't make any sense. And then I started reading it in more depth, and I said, okay, now it makes more sense. But this right here, I don't know. I don't know why they did it like this to do the backers in a certain way. I understand all backers coming in towards the end, but Wave 1 subscribers and concierge, that's what it's always been. Then as you go along, you keep going. So if I wasn't a subscriber, I would be here in this tier, right? So I don't know. What are you guys' thoughts? What do you feel about this? I mean, it's a very controversial thing. Fair points. I think they should have just left it as it was, but added player time to Wave 1 also. It's I don't know. It's a very, very, very controversial subject. They made it sound more like a marketing thing than what it was supposed to be, and it needed to be worded much differently. And I think a lot of people wouldn't have been so upset. Just my going over it and just my thought of it. I'm gonna get into it either way, no matter what. So I mean, yeah, I play every day, so I am hoping within when it drops, I'll be in wave 1. Yeah, it gave the wrong impression and probably should have just left out the wording. I agree. And a lot of people were thinking that it's more of a agreed, very controversial. As I mentioned, I believe I may have got bumped from wave 1 to wave 4 under this new system. Yeah. So, to me, they made this sound like a cash grab instead of what it was intended to be. That's what I saw. When I first saw this, I was like, what? And it looked like a money grab. It looked like a money grab to get more subscribers in and people going up to another level of concierge. Then you got your active players. There's people that have not played this game in maybe 2 years. Okay? They've probably not played it in 2 years. And they may decide to jump into it, and they can't because of this. Because it's saying top actors players rated by hours in the previous 2 major patch cycles. So in 3.19 and 3.18, those are the only people that are going to be allowed to jump in, unless they are a subscriber and this level of backing. It should have been worded a whole lot, much differently than what they did. So, anybody else got any thoughts and comments? Because I'm just hoping that I get in on first wave. I should, but who knows? And definitely as far as the issue council goes, it needs to be a little bit more streamlined so it makes a lot more sense. The issue is the subscribers get wave 1. People like myself who are second level concierge still get bumped. If they left out the subscribers and added the hours played, that would have gone down better. The hours played makes a big difference. Well, subscribers, maybe if they'd have left that word out. Maybe if they would have left that word out. Because there's people that play every day that aren't subscribers. And with the time played, the hours you played, I expect you to be Evocati. I don't report the bugs because every time I do it, it gets squashed and it doesn't go in the right place, and it's very confusing. Yeah. Maybe they should do is attach a time played countdown if you join the PTU. Then you need to play this amount of time or be bumped down to a low rate. Hey, Everett, how are you? Good to hear from you, man. If you were a lower wave and completed the required time, then reward applied to a higher wave for time played. That's a good point, too. That's a good point, too. So, all in all, I just think that the way this was worded was bad, and it upset a lot of people and caused a whole lot of drama that didn't need to be. It was worded poorly, and it did. When I first saw it, it looked like a cash grab. It looked like a cash grab. Yeah, all the hours I played, yeah, I agree. But we'll see. Yeah, we missed you too, Everett. As a matter of fact, I got to talk to you sometime soon when we can get together and work out some stuff. But I just really feel that they need to really reword this and get it clear so people know exactly what they're talking about, and break it down a little bit more so people will know what they're striving for and how they want to do it. I appreciate it, Everett. So that's pretty much all I had for today on the Snowbirds meeting room. Look over the ISC, which I thought was kind of cool. Evocati playtest. They're still working on the stability. From what I gathered, that the whole C was not in this first setup for Evocati. So we'll see what happens with that. And I wanted to go over this and get some of your thoughts on it, because when I first saw it, it kind of upset me. It did when I first saw it, and I was talking about it in the chat when it first dropped with Miss Charmy and a few of the others, and it was very, very controversial. A lot of people were a little upset. So anyway, if nobody has any other questions or comments, I'm going to go ahead and close this out. This was a pretty short one. The main news, and we all want the best for the game. So work with us, don't scold us. Yeah, good point. Very good point, Everett. Very good point. I hope this goes well. I really do. I hope it goes well. But it also depends on the stability of what the PTU is going to offer, how it's going to run, and hopefully when it does drop to the PU, it won't be a train wreck. That's the main thing. That it won't be a train wreck at this point. So anyway, I will be seeing you all later on in the Snowbirds Warbirds Discord server, and getting ready for today's activities. Do a few things. Not gonna stream anything today. Tomorrow is salvage day, and we'll do some salvage gameplay. The spotlight for the week, the Snow Devils. You're welcome, Everett. You're welcome. Yeah, salvage gameplay on Monday, and today just kick back and chill. No stream today. Just wanted to get this out there. I was gonna wait till Boy Walker Joe came in, but he had another obligation, so I decided to go ahead and run it today. It's early. So everybody take care. I will see you all in the server later. I got to do a couple things with Mrs. Shadow, and I hope you all enjoyed it. Take care and have a good one.